Greetings everybody. So on this short video, we are going to create a variation on the root locus function in MATLAB to add the asymptotic lines that the root locus follows. Okay, so as you already know, we have discussed about this in earlier videos. In order to plot the root locus for any given system, you just have to include the function rlocus sys, where sys is the system at hand. Okay, so this, for example, is the root locus diagram for a specific system that I have here. And let's try another possible example, this one, which also plots the root locus. Now, as you know, the locuses inside the root locus follow some specific asymptotic lines as they go towards infinity. Okay, but the root locus function by default doesn't plot these asymptotic lines. So let's add them ourselves. I have a very simple variation here that takes any given system, okay, and plots the root locus in the original form and then adds the asymptotic lines. So the function is rlocus better. It takes as an input a system. I'm going to put a link to download this function in the description of the video from MATLAB Central. So let's see a little bit what the function does. Okay, it's very simple, but it's also very elegant because it considers how exactly we plot the asymptotic lines in the best possible way. Now, the function starts by plotting the root locus, the original, and then we include a hold all command so that we hold the original root locus and add material in the graph. Now, in order to compute the asymptotic lines that the root locus follows, we need the poles and zeros of the system. Okay. To do so, I have ZPK data from the system. Now, what this function does, it takes the system at hand, either in ZPK or in transfer function form, and it returns in two different variables, the zeros of the system and the poles of the system. Okay. The comma v here that you see, let me use the comma v that you see right here. Basically, what it does is that it transforms the zeros and poles functions, variables, I'm sorry, into vectors. Okay, otherwise they may be returned as a different structure. Okay, but we want them as vectors. Okay. The first step is this. The next step is to compute the point that the asymptotes start from in the x-axis. Okay, this point, by theory, as you know, is given by the sum of the poles minus the sum of the functions. Okay, since poles and zeros are inside the vector, by sum of them, we simply sum their values. Okay, and this is divided by the length of the poles vector minus the length of the zeros vector. Okay, so it's basically the cardinality of the poles minus the cardinality of the zeros. So as we compute that, we get the asymptotic point, which is the point on the x dot axis, okay, with coordinate as points, and of course the y coordinate for this point is 0 because it's on the x axis. Now I simply set by default the length of the asymptote. Of course, the asymptote will go to infinity, but I need a specific length, which is a basic number like 20. You can do it higher if you like, but 20 is enough for all of these graphs. And now the next thing that we need to do is think about how many asymptotic lines I need to plot. Now, if you think about it, the number of asymptotic lines that we need to plot has to do with how many locuses are following this specific number of lines. But as a general rule, we know that the root locus has locuses equal to the max value of the zeros or the poles, okay, the max cardinality, I should say, of the zeros and poles of the open system. So the best way to approach this is compute how many locuses do we have at most, and then plot that many asymptotes. Okay, so I have max between the length of zeros and the length of the poles, and this is the amount of asymptotic lines that I need to plot. And then I have a for loop where I plot the asymptotic lines. So I have an I here that starts from 0 up to max data minus 1. So this is exactly the number of asymptotes that I have. And using this I here, I compute the angle of the asymptote. So as you know from the theory, the angle of each asymptote is pi times 2i plus 1 divided by the length of the poles, the number of the poles, minus the number of the zeros. Okay, so now for each I have already, of course, the point of the asymptotes and the angle of the asymptotes. Okay. So now what I need to do is plot a straight line that starts from this point on the x dot axis and has the specific angle that I have computed. Okay, very, very nice. How do I do that? It is very simple, but I have a minor twist here. In case that the angle is 0 or 180 degrees, or in general, a multiple of pi, this means that the asymptote is going to be identical to the x dot axis. In this case, probably a part of the root locus actually belongs on the x dot axis. And in this case, I choose, just for a personal preference, not to plot the asymptote. The reason I do that is that in this case, that part of the root locus belongs to the x dot axis, uh, the root locus, if I add the asymptotes, is going to look a bit crowded, and I don't want that. So I plot the asymptotic line only if the angle is not a multiple of pi. Okay, if you don't like that, simply remove it. So in this case, I already have a starting point. Okay, the coordinate is as point and the y coordinate is 0. I need an endpoint for the asymptote, and I compute it by x end and y end using these simple rules, which are basically an application of the Pythagorean theorem. So the x coordinate is s point plus r cosine, and the y endpoint is 0 plus r sine. And after I compute these endpoints, I simply plot a single line, which is the asymptote, in black color and by using a dust format. Okay, so let's see the result. The original root locus, as you remember, is this one, and with the function rlocus better, we also have the asymptotes. So the result is much, much, much prettier than before. Okay, a very nice addition. Of course, the asymptotes are plotted only when we need them. So when we don't need them, just like in this case right here, we don't have them. Okay, let's see some other examples. Okay, this is a very nice one as well. We see the double dust asymptotes right here. Very nice result. Oops. Let's remove this, I'm sorry. Let's see another example. Again, the asymptotes are not required, so they are not plotted. Let's see another result. Very nice diagram. Again, you see that the two asymptotes here and the root locus follows them as it goes to infinity. And you can see that the algorithm understands, the function understands when we need the asymptotes and when we don't need them. Okay, so you can try it out for yourself. Again, another example where we do have the asymptotes right here. You can make any variation that you like. You are going to find the algorithm in the description of the video. If you have any questions, I'm sorry, just let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.